Hello and welcome to a video clip about industrial and organizational psychology. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what IO psychology is and help give you information on how to determine if it's the right path for you. I'm also going to direct you to some additional resources so that you can learn more about careers in IO psychology and graduate school in IO psychology. Well, people oftentimes have heard of the field of psychology before. They less often have heard of IO psychology, IO standing for industrial and organizational. So IO psychology is the scientific study of working, and it's really psychology applied to the workplace. We apply the scientific method to investigate issues that are relevant to businesses, individuals, and to society. Personally, when I meet people and I tell them that I work in IO psychology, they might immediately think of this because most people in the field of psychology are interested in clinical and counseling, but IO psychologists tend to focus more on the work group level rather than treating individuals one at a time. About 6% of psychologists are in the field of IO. IO psychologists can work in a lot of different types of careers. Mainly, you could break it into two categories. You could go applied, working in a business setting, or else you could go academic, working for a university, like your faculty members here at UWF do. So I'm going to first talk about these first two bubbles here, working in an applied setting. If you're going applied, you could either get your doctoral degree, which is a research degree, or you could get your master's degree. Both of them are professional degrees, and if you're seeking them, you should be sure that you really want to specialize in this field. With a PhD, you would tend to do more external consulting. You could be an internal consultant too. You'd probably tend to focus on higher level types of consulting, for example, things that are associated with legal issues for the company, or oftentimes things that require very high-level statistics. But with a master's degree, you can do quite a number of different things. Here are some job titles of people that work in IO psychology. At the top levels, corporate vice president, director, manager, staff member, and then working in all kinds of different HR titles, so organizational development, talent management, human resources research, and so forth. You could reach top-level positions, particularly if you have your doctorate, although it's also possible to take on a high-level leadership position with a master's degree. Top-level positions could include president, principal, vice president, director, or consultant. And you could work in private research, or you could work for a consulting company. Now, I mentioned that besides doing applied work, you could also work at a university, and job titles, if you choose to work at a university, would include full, associate, or assistant. You'd start at the assistant level and work your way up. You can work in a business school, or you can work in a psychology program. Working at a university would involve teaching, research, probably a mix of both. There are many different reasons to become an IO psychologist. Just to name off a few, you can benefit from a lot of job variety. It's always interesting. There's always new topics in the workplace. You have independence, flexibility typically, and it tends to be a well-paying field. One of the very top paying fields that you can go into with a psychology degree. You can help to develop understanding of people and how they behave in group settings, and you can learn how to help businesses and employees achieve their full potential. Now, I can speak from my own personal experience. I always knew that I loved psychology, and I knew I needed to do something involving helping people. I wanted to become an IO psychologist because I like how practical it is, but I wanted to be able to help people in something practical, and I thought people spend so much of their lives in the workplace, so if you can make the workplace better, then you can really make an impact on people's lives. You can also see that here some data on the salaries of IO psychologists. Here's a little quiz that I found. It says, "Is IO psychology for me?" And you can answer these questions Once you've finished answering the question, so write down your answers, yes or no. I really encourage you to do it on a sheet of paper. And if you can pause the video and answer these questions, I'm going to give you the answer key next. So if you think you're going to do this, now is the time to pause the video. If you tended to answer yes to the odd number questions, then it's likely that you'd enjoy a career in I/O. But if you tended to answer yes to the even numbered questions and not so much the odd number questions, well, you might like some other area of psychology. If you think this test was a problematic test and you want to find a better way to measure people's career interests, well, that's something that the field of IO psychology studies too, so maybe then you're also a fit for IO psychology. There are a lot of resources available on how to get into grad school, more information on what IO psychology is, careers in IO psychology, so I've tried to pull together some resources for you to further explore if you're interested. This is a video on what IO psychology is that's put out by the PsyOp Foundation, which is www.psyop.org, and you can click on the video and watch more if you're interested. PsyOp's website, psyop.org, it's the premier organization in the field of IO psychology, so just in general, that's a wonderful resource to explore. This is a video clip on how to get into graduate school. A lot of different people offer perspectives in this video. And this video gives some career previews of what it's like to work in IO psychology. Then I've also pulled together some websites. There's this blog from actually one of my former faculty members on how to get into grad school in IO. So it talks about what you need to do for application materials and what your reviewers will want to see. I mentioned the PsyOp page, psyop.org. Well, there's a subpage to that one that includes specific resources just for students. And then lastly, our IO psychology program. We offer a master's program in IO. I'm really proud of our program. You can find more information about that, and faculty members are happy to be resources for you too if you want to approach any of us and talk to us more about career fields in IO. Dr. April Shantz, myself, Dr. Valerie Morganson, Dr. Cass, and Dr. Sherry Schneider would be happy to talk to you more about our IO program. I also want to show you our IO website. Our program, Masters of Psychology in IO, the IO concentration, you can see here on our splash page that we just recently had a few recognitions in national rankings for program quality, opportunities for applied experience, and learning practical skills, program resources. So those things, and then our graduate students tend to be actively involved in the Society of Human Resource Management. So you can see here just this past year, they just got best in competition at the national competition for the Society of Human Resource Management. If you are interested in applying to our graduate school program to get your master's degree, you can apply here. We will review your application holistically. That means that we'll focus on all the aspects of your application rather than having a set score that we're looking for one aspect of the application. You can see more about what we typically look for in applications and more information about how to apply here. There's also some admission FAQs that hopefully you'll find helpful. If you have any questions or you want to follow up, the best way to reach out is by email. You can email psychpsych@uwf.edu. Thank you for your time, and I hope